y'all, my name is Jasmine Jones, and you are now watching a Black girl therapist in the wild. And this is a little series I like to call Therapist Sips and Reviews. Today we're reviewing Insecure Season 5, Episode 3, Pressure, okay? And we are sipping on, same as usual, vodka and some cran grape juice. So maybe the juice will change, but the alcohol will most likely stay the same because I don't really like any other type of alcohol besides vodka. So it is what it is. And so, yes, we are late again. We are on CPT time, people. CPT, yes. Color people time, yes. It is what it is, yes. But I hope that you enjoy and that you take away from this happiness, peace, and soul. Wait, is that what he said? Love, peace, and soul. I don't fucking know what that nigga said. God rest his soul. Anyways, let me take a little sip before I put it down. Today, we are following Lawrence and Condola's story. I'm going to say her name correctly in this video because, they fleshed out her character a little bit enough for me to feel empathy, sympathy, and care for how, who she is as a human being. Yes. We wake up not about 9 months from, the time that Condola had been impregnated with the oopsie baby. We are in San Francisco. Lawrence is waking up in his fancy penthouse apartment. Yes, he has come a long way since season 1 and being jobless and sad and depressed and dragging someone else along in his sadness and depression. Yes, I will not let that go. And he is marketing something, tech something, I don't know, tech something at some company. He's doing well. He is thriving in his career. He is taking on a project with these people that are smart clothes something. I don't know. I don't want my clothes to have robots in them. It's whatever. Unless it can be completely seamless and I cannot feel wires or electricity going through my clothes, then I don't want it. I want some shit akin to, the invisible cloak in Harry Potter. Yes, you're just gonna keep bringing up that motherfucker. Oh well. Oh, it's my videos. I don't care. And he's thriving and he's on a date. And
some of them don't have doors. I could go rolling down one of these steep ass hills.
You're lucky you're cute. That's stupid.
I'll take stupid and cute.
They're getting to know each other. The woman has siblings and he doesn't have siblings, and it's a very bland, basic conversation that you have on a first date. And he's dating a dark-skinned woman. That's nice. He has, gone back to us darker skins. It's wonderful. When he gets a text from Condola herself or her family saying that she's having the baby or she's had the baby, so he immediately hops a plane and flies down to LA to greet her and her child. As soon as he walks into the room, we see Keke Palmer. We see, what's her name? Roshan something or other. The beautiful woman from the 90s. Roshan is playing Condola's mother. Keke is playing her sister. Keke and Roshan just stop talking and they all three stare at him like he's crazy. He feels awkward as he walks into the room and all these other things, and then they get it together, get their emotions together, get them together, because he hasn't done anything too much bad yet. And something to note too is that there is no father present. I don't remember what Condola said about her father, but maybe going into a lot of their initial reactions to Lawrence, who wants to be a dad, but is clumsily going about it, forgetting that mommy is doing most of the work while you're up there doing work up there. And yes, you're tired, but mommy is having to be mommy 24/7. So that's why communication is key, but we'll get there. Anyways, he walks to the room. They look at him like he's crazy. Then they get it together and they offer him to come in, hold the baby, all these other things. They have named the baby Elijah Mustafa, whatever, Walker. And Lawrence of course feels this type of way, as anyone would, but then what would you expect from a family that named their child Condola? I don't know what Keke Palmer's name is in here, but I'm sure it's something weird, or if not, she escaped being named some shit like Apple. It probably means something. It's probably African, Orisha, whatever. Don't come for me. It's still, I don't care. I'm not naming my child Mustafa. Middle name, first name. Elijah's cool. You know, that's a name. It's a regular Mustafa. It's fine. But, you know, he comes and hosts a baby. Then later that night, he's at his friend's house, little light-skinned nigga. And he's just upset, like, how dare she name the baby that? And what if I wanted to have a say in the baby's name? He wants to be a part of the baby things, but hasn't talked to this bitch in 9 months, is what I'm assuming. That's how they're presenting this. Hasn't checked in, hasn't asked her about the pregnancy, hasn't asked her about each and every hospital visit that she's going to, hasn't asked her about morning sickness and how are you, sir, saying that you, sir, want to be a part of, sir, this child's life if you haven't checked in throughout the whole pregnancy? You haven't been there for every single doctor's appointment that she goes to. You haven't done the chef's kiss and did your fatherly duty, sir. You're just coming and showing up when she has the baby. No, sir, she doesn't care for you. I wouldn't either. You haven't been there. Yes. I have daddy issues. Leave me the fuck alone. And so, yes. He thinks it's enough that he's there, that he shows up, that he says hi, that he, you know, kisses the baby, and, you know. But of course, there's also this air of shade coming from her and her family, because they probably have father issues. Like I said, the father isn't there. I don't see her dad around. Maybe he died. I don't know. He was a good dad and he died. I forgot her story. Somebody tell me. The last season was so far away. Did they even have a season in 2020? Maybe they did. Was the last season in 2020? See, the time. It's the pandemic. So the first thing that they do, that they're having little issues about, is the baptism. When is it supposed to be? And where is it supposed to be? And his parents want the baby baptized. So he wants to be a part of things, but she's already got it planned, because she's had to have everything planned since conception. He just said, let me know what happens. and just dipped out her fucking life. And, you know, I feel like they're establishing that they're not romantically entwined at all. They don't like each other. And I don't mind that. I don't mind. But then don't involve the child just because y'all don't like each other. So, he feels the type of way because she already has it planned. And but you didn't say anything. You didn't say that bothered you. You didn't say that, you know, you would like to be a part of your child's life until later when you were getting angry and aggressive about it. You let the shit build up instead of saying, you know what? Let me find out why she's so upset with me. Let me find out why she's treating me like I'm a deadbeat. Where were you when she was pregnant, honey? That's why. That's why. It's like you have objectified her as this evil bitch witch that got pregnant on purpose and kept the baby on purpose, and that's all you see her as. So you don't really connect to her as a mother going through the struggle of being a mother, and that's why you don't check in. That's why you don't care. That's why you don't want to be a part of anything that has to do with her specifically. But as soon as you see the baby, you're like, oh, the baby's separate, so now I want you to come over and stay a week with me. Now I want you to spend the night. Why would she let her child go with some strange man that she doesn't know, that who wasn't even here during her pregnancy? You didn't even care enough for the baby when the baby was in her stomach. Why are you trying to be a dad now? You were so mad at her that you couldn't care for her child. Caring about the mother's well-being is a part of caring about your child. You don't have to like her. You don't have to want to fuck her. You don't have to want to do anything else but care about her as the mother of your child, because she is most likely going to have to be with the baby 24/7. Unless, you know, in the other previews, it seems like he moves down here. Unless they're switching off every week or some shit like that. Okay, that's fine. But the thing is like, don't be mad at her because you weren't here during her pregnancy. You weren't asking questions. You weren't checking in. You didn't give a fuck. So yes, she doesn't trust you, homie. Homie, she doesn't trust you, homie. Yes. And so This is strike two, from walking into the room and having them stare at him like he's a psycho, to her scheduling and planning the baptism. He wants to be a dad. He wants to be a dad, but he doesn't understand that in the process of being a dad, you have to be cordial, at the very least cordial, with your child's mother. You can't let things that make you upset get in the way of taking care of your child. That's why you both sit down. That's why you have to have empathy for the fact that pregnancy is some bullshit. Having the baby is some bullshit. Taking care of the baby 24/7 and being tired constantly. Plus, I'm sure she probably has to go to work at some point. It's some bullshit. And you have no empathy, sympathy, caring, love, anything for her. You know, love her as a friend. Love her as the mother of your child. Love her enough to be able to see that you need to be able to cohabitate and co-parent in this situation. So they're at the baby shower, and he invited his family and she invited hers. They're at her house and they're baptizing the baby. His parents, of course, have some shade to throw because they're talking about, oh, the baby only got a little bit of sprinkle on his head. Are they Catholic? I mean, Baptists baptized too, so maybe, I don't know. But their parents like, he only got a little sprinkle. What about the rest of his body? What about the rest of it? I'm like, don't drown. We don't need to drown the baby. Dipping them in, dipping them out. It's traumatizing for children. You know, it's one thing if you slowly dip them in the water and they learn how to swim. It's another thing if you're just dipping them in, dipping them out. You know, and his parents want to see the children too. And so he's just like, I want to come down every week. He makes a promise to do that. We've seen him coming back and forth every week, tired, exhausted, you know. And eventually he gets tired, he gets caught up with work, and he can't do it every single fucking week because it's only like a couple hour flight, but it's still exhausting to be on a plane every week for like a day and then come back. So he tells her he can't come one day, and Kiki's there, and she's just like, he just shows up and he plays good dad and leaves. And yes, he is doing the essence of a deadbeat dad. It's the essence, it's the actions. But mentally, he's buying a crib at his house. He's setting up a little space for the baby. Mentally, he's excited for the baby. So all this needed is communication, setting a set schedule. And I guess he's going to move down here eventually. But at this point, he doesn't realize that that's all this needs. They end up going to Derek's house because Derek's child has had a baby. Of course, it's awkward. Everyone's looking at him and Condola like, oh, children, him, Condola. Kelly's hilarious. She's just like, Condola, you, baby, yes, honey. And it is an awkward moment. And of course, when Condola walks away, he's asking Kelly like, how's everyone else? And Kelly, I love it. She's just like, they're thriving, abundance, honey. Just vague, but positive because it's true. And of course, we all know what he means. How's Issa? They still love each other, honey. This could work, bitch. He ain't even with this hoe. He ain't been with this hoe for 9 months. You could have been had this nigga. Issa irritates the fucking shit out of me because she doesn't know what the fuck she wants. What did she think was going to happen? That he was just going to fall in love and have a little happy family with Condola? They don't like each other, bitch. Issa irritates the shit out of me. I want to see the dark-skinned woman get with this black man and live happily ever after in this fantasy world because it doesn't happen in real life often. Leave me alone. Don't try to drink and talk, children. Yes. Let me wipe that. Just get that off of me. Doesn't happen in this world often, as we are seeing in the media. Of course, if you look at statistics, black people usually marry black people a lot, but still, doesn't happen in the media. We don't see it on television. We don't see the romance, the sparkles, the love towards this dark-skinned women, black women, by these black men. So I want to see it happen. But anyways, they're at the whole festivities for this child's first birthday. And he's just like trying to talk to Condola, and he goes off and feeds the baby. He's just excited to be around the baby. And I think because basically her family has been standoffish. She's been standoffish with giving him the lead. I think that's why he hasn't taken more of the lead of being in the baby's life. And he's trying to be more gradual about, okay, so maybe at the end of the year, I can take her for a week for the holidays. Maybe, she can spend the night with me after a month or so, And I think that's why he's trying to be more gradual in this, instead of just popping out with, can she spend every other week with me? Because it seems like, in my spirit, I feel like that's what he wants to do, but he's scared that they're going to do some crazy people shit, like go to court and get full custody, and he can only see the child when they will it. Let's go to the extremes with this. So I don't think he's a deadbeat. I think he's trying to be cautious, but I do think he wants to see his child on a more regular basis. But the thing is, you're still not considering the mother. You're not considering the mother in all of this. You don't even know if she has postpartum depression. You don't know what she's doing this basically by herself. Yes, her family's helping her, but when you don't have a constant person there and a partner, you're doing it basically by yourself. And it's not the same. And so you're still wrong, Lawrence. You're still wrong. So they're there at the thing and they get in this argument, and he had taken the baby to feed him, and he comes back with the baby. The baby has a little smush on his face, and I guess he gave the baby some solid food that was on the table, some mushy carrots or something. I thought it was icing, but then she said it was carrots later. Or he said it was carrots or whatever. And he's just like, what's the big deal? I just gave the baby some carrots. And she's just like, well, we haven't introduced solid food to the baby yet. And we don't know how he'll take to the solid food. There's a certain way to do it. And she's going to the classes. She's talking to the doctor on a regular basis. And then this nigga wants her to check in every time she does this. So if she's doing this shit, she's researching baby things and trying to buying baby books. Nigga, did you buy baby books? Did you go to baby classes? All the shit that women do when we're pregnant, when we have a baby, it just continues. We just research and do stuff to learn and talk to the doctor and be constantly worried about this little thing that we gave birth to. He just popped up when the baby popped out. And now he suddenly wants to be a dad. Nigga, you're a dad as soon as conception and she decides to keep that child. That's when you become a dad. Like, it just irritates the fucking shit out of me. Yes. And so he's getting mad because she's saying things like, I didn't want to introduce that to the baby yet, and he's just like, why are you being this? And he's getting loud and aggressive at the baby party, and I'm just like, calm down, sir, your tone. Why are you getting so aggressive? See, this is why women get afraid of men, because when they get angry, instead of just like, hey, let me go take a walk, because I'm getting angry enough that I want to hit this bitch, let me go take a walk, a lot of men get louder and more aggressive, and they may not hit you, but who knows? We don't know that. And they fighting over the baby. She like, give me my baby. And he like, no. And then, homeboy Derek, come over. Yes, honey. This is what your homeboys need to do. Check your niggas. Check your homies. Check your homies. Yes, check them. Pulls him to the side, and he's like, nigga, you need to chill. Lauren's like, but she keep making all these rules and schedules, and she's acting like I'm a deadbeat. Most niggas ain't even there for their kids, and I'm showing up and my nigga, you showing up and being the fun dad and throwing the baby up in the air and laughing and kissing his face and then leaving for the rest of the week. Honey bunches of oats. That's not enough. Honey, that's not enough. She talking about like when the baby is sick and we had to take him to the doctor. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? It's a work day. Apparently you can't come down on a work day. So he leaves again. They show this like montage of like him working and drinking and fucking and being tired, but he gets to sleep. Then they're showing her barely getting any sleep, tired, exhausted, 24 fucking 7. And you see how much mommy has to put in to take care of this living being that she has birthed. And you see him over here fucking bitches, having time to sleep. And I don't care if he got to fly back and forth. That's a day. Nigga, she can't sleep most of the week because this child is crying and hungry and doing all this extra shit. This is a newborn baby. This is the freshest baby you're going to get. And so, it's no comparison. And I'm tired because Lawrence he got the drive, but he don't got the dedication, and it irritates me. It's like, how you gonna have to drive with no dedication? That's like when you call dads babysitters. Nigga, that's your child that you're taking care. You're not a babysitter. You are the parent of that child. You know, all this shit. You know, when they was at the hospital at the checkup, the doctor was saying that something about her milk, and she was like, oh, you know, it's fine now. And he just, what's wrong with the milk? Like, all aggressive, like, nigga, slow the fuck down. Nothing's wrong with anything. Were you here when her titties was hurting and her nipples were chafed and shit? Why are you concerned now? Why are you suddenly concerned? You just been wallowing in your... See, this is what he does, is when he gets upset about something, he just shut the fuck down. And he shut the fuck down on his child until his child was here. See, it's a pattern. Lauren shut the fuck down on his career. He shut the fuck down on Issa and dating and treating women with respect for a minute. And then he shut down on his child until that child was here, and he realized, oh, this is an actual person. I can't just shut down and act like this person doesn't exist, because it would be wrong. This just was niggas. But I'm here, but you're not here. You're here, but you're not here, honey. You're here, but you're not here. So then after the little montage, he's showing back up in LA. And he's saying that, you know, this is his time to take the baby overnight. I don't know where he's taking the baby to. I don't know if he was going to take the baby over the plane. I feel this type of way about having newborns on a plane because their little ears may pop. They don't know what's going on. They're crying. It's a lot of stuff. It's scary. It is scary. But you're not considering that. You're considering what you want and how you envision being a dad. That's what's going on here. He's envisioning, his vision of how he wanted to be a dad is in the forefront. He's not considering other people's feelings. He's not considering his baby's feelings. He's not considering Condola's feelings. It's my vision of being this perfect dad. I set this crib up in my living room with the lights and the stars on the ceiling, and it's magnificent. Magnificent. And I'm gonna bring my baby here, and he's gonna lay in this crib, and we're gonna have cute father-son time and baby time, and it's gonna be magnificent. And that's what's going on in his mind, like a fucking child. So it's sad. Not taking it back, okay? And so he shows up to take the babies overnight. And Condola's just like, the baby's crying, fussy. It's the baby's fussy hour. And he's coming up like, oh, are you crying because daddy's late? Nigga, she just said it's the baby's fussy hour. That means this baby has an hour where he just cries for no fucking reason. You didn't hear her. You did. And he's sad because daddy is late. This nigga's not even registering that you are in the room. This baby's crying because the baby has a fussy hour. I would ask, like, oh, the baby has a fussy hour? What time is the baby's fussy hour usually at? What usually triggers the baby's fussy hour, so that I can know what kind of things do you do to make sure he's okay during his fussy hour? Which ways do you hold him so that he can be okay, so that I can know how to do that at home when I have him? None of that. No empathy. No empathy. When you have no empathy, you're not thinking about other people's feelings. You're not going to ask questions like that. You're thinking about your fantasy and your dream, and finally I get to get this baby away from her, and that you're not thinking. So he's holding the baby, rocking the baby. The baby's still crying. He's like just in his own little fussiness. And Condola's like, well, here, give him to me because I know how to calm him down a little bit faster. Instead of being like, oh, tell me how to do that so I can know for myself, he just gets irate. Why do I have to give you the baby? And he's just like, give me my baby. He's arguing with his baby. And he gives her the baby, and she's like, you know, I don't think she should go with you. I don't think this is a good time. It's a new place. You know, he's going to get, because she has empathy and understands her child and understands that her child is going to be scared. And her child is, you know, she knows her child's personality because she's with him 24/7. He doesn't even call and check in and ask how the baby's doing. So he's like, what the fuck? I'm tired of this. And then she's like, I don't trust you. And she just spills the beans of, you haven't been here. You haven't been to any checkups. You don't check in. You don't call. You don't do anything. I'm here 24/7. He's like, it's hard for me too. And she's like, are you not getting to get any sleep at night too? Are you having to get up and feed the baby, change the baby, make sure the baby isn't sick? Are you having to make sure the baby is going to the emergency room if he gets sick, and he's like, why didn't you tell me the baby? I'm not telling you everything that happens with this child. You should be on top of it. You should be checking in. You should check in once or twice a day just to see how your son is, because it's your son and that's how you feel if you want to be a dad. It's a 24/7 job, nigga. Irritates the fuck out of me. He has the potential to be a good dad. He has the potential to be a good dad because he has the drive. He just doesn't have the dedication. No dedication. He just wants to live his fantasy of how he wants to raise a child. You trash ass nigga. Children aren't pets. Children aren't pets. Children are not pets. They're not little dolls. They're not, it irritates the fuck out of me. They're little people with feelings and emotions, and they're going to grow into adults, and they're going to have feelings and emotions, and irritates the fuck out of me. Yes, I'm angry. I have daddy issues. Leave me alone. This was triggering, obviously. It's just like, why are you acting like this little baby's a doll? I'm going to dress my little doll up, put my little baby doll in the crib, and he's going to look up at the stars and be fascinated. Or he's going to lay there and cry because the lights are too bright and it hurts his eyes. We're not considering that. We're not, because they're little dolls. And so, gets into the fight. He storms out because she's not going to let the baby stay. He doesn't beat women. He just gets angry and aggressive. So we've established that. Gets on a plane. Damn plane almost crashes. I hate that it took, and then a baby on the plane cries. I guess he was going to take the baby back to his house on the plane. And then he realized, I'm sure this is the thoughts that I'm sure was going, maybe she was right about the baby being stressed out. This plane almost crashed. So why did it take that for you to consider the child had feelings? I hate it all. I hate it. Yes. Why did it take that for you to consider that this little baby had feelings and emotions? And would be stressed out. Like, he was just like, who cares if this child is? I'm tired of people objectifying children. If you remember yourself as a child, you remember the emotions you had when mommy and daddy would do fuck shit, would spank you, would do fuck shit to you, would take your shit, punishment, and those that suffered from abuse. You remember your fucking emotions. It hurt you inside as a 5-year-old to have your parent hit you in any capacity. Why wouldn't you consider that your child or a child would not have fucking emotions and feelings if you had them? Why? Children have feelings. They just don't have the words for their feelings. So they internalize and think everything is their fault. They have a whole developmental period where they have absolutely no idea that other people have feelings. Complete little narcissistic period. Not in an evil way, just they don't recognize that these things that affect you, that affect them, affect you, and that you have emotions too. So they're just focused completely on themselves. So when you do things to them, they're focused completely on themselves. They're like, oh, mommy hates me. Mommy thinks I'm a bad person. I am a little shit, and I don't know what to do to make mommy happy. Oh, and then they're just stewing in that. They're just stewing in self-loathing because you did that to them. They're not seeing that mommy has issues. Mommy has a drug problem. Mommy, is angry all the time at everybody. They're just saying that mommy hates them. And they grow up that way. And even when they develop empathy, it's still hard to conceptualize that mommy has her own stuff and that they're not at fault. And then that we have little adults who think everybody is against them in some way or another. Are there a problem or something's wrong with them? Yes. You have to consider your baby's emotions. Even as infants, trauma stays in your body. There was a study about these infants in this orphanage or some shit, and this is fucked up, but this was back in the 40s or 50s, where they could just do any type of experiments on human beings, and they could just get away with that shit. It was like little war babies or something, war orphans, and the nurses would hug some babies but not hug other babies. And the babies that got hugged grew up a little bit more well-rounded, a little bit more emotionally stable, and the babies that didn't get hugs grew up all fucked up and emotionally unstable and shit like that. Babies retain trauma Children retain trauma. Adolescents retain trauma. Young adults retain trauma. Older adults retain trauma. Senior citizens, we are human beings, are sponges for trauma. And if you fuck up a person, if they don't get help or get fixed, they stay that way forever until the day they fucking die. And then they spread that shit like a cancer to other people. Or they just wallow in themselves and it just spreads throughout them, you know. And so that is the danger of not recognizing that your children are people and not objects or little dolls. Because then you get mad when they talk back. Then you get mad when they have feelings because they're not living up to the archetype of being your little doll. Oh, she put her on the pedestal of dollness. And then she had the audacity to say she didn't like my soup that I made her. Whack! Fuck her up. No, go back to being a doll. I'm like, no, nigga, what's wrong with you? Maybe she has a sensory issue and doesn't like flavors or certain textures, and it literally does taste nasty to her. Certain things can taste nasty to children too. They have taste buds just like we have taste buds, you know. And so forcing them to eat things that they don't like. Now, of course, you know, not many kids are gonna like vegetables. It's just gonna happen. So some things you just gotta make them eat and give them rewards. Or, you know, my mom used to separate it into a small pile. Eat this little bit of vegetables and you can get up from the table. And I would eat the little bit of vegetables. They were nasty. And I would get up and go. And sometimes you gotta negotiate, you know, because they gotta have a full, well-rounded, you know, nutrition. I'm not saying feed your kids a bunch of junk food because they say so. I'm saying don't whack them in the face and get all extra and take it personally. They're a fucking child. But they have their own feelings and emotions, and you need to get out of your fucking head and just recognize that this child finds the thing that you made gross. It is what it is. Make them something different. Make it in a different way. Figure it out. See, he's on the plane, and I guess it takes the turbulence from the plane and the almost damn near dying and hearing the baby cry on the plane for him to realize that the baby has feelings and emotions and will be stressed out by being on a plane. So he gets back to his home. Condola feeling the type of way. He feeling the type of way. He calls Condola. He apologizes for being a dick, which is, yes, as he should. And he's just like, you know, oh, this isn't going to work. And she's like, yeah, it's not going to work. And so he's like, what are you going to do? And then it ends. So like I said, in previews, it shows that he moves back to LA. As he should, because his child is down there. And if you want to be a good parent, you can't really do the long distance thing unless you're really on it. You're just on it all the time. All the fucking time. Because I have clients whose parents moved away. They barely saw their parents, maybe in the summertime. Barely heard from them. Unless it was a vacation or summertime and it fucked them up. You know? So you gotta be on it so your kids don't get fucked up and feel abandoned. So, moves back, I'm assuming. And so maybe that'll be the next episode. However it goes. But he's figuring it out. He's unwinding from this solo kind of narcissistic type thinking of my feelings only matter. Other people's feelings matter too, even if you don't like them. They're still people, and you still have to consider their emotions if you're going to be interacting with them, especially if they're the mother or father of your child. So yes, if I was Condola, I would be scared of this nigga too. Like, what? Well, he showed up? Okay. Like, I ain't seen him for 9 fucking months. Ain't heard from him. I didn't expect any of that shit. Of course they're gonna be looking at him when you walk in the room like, haven't heard, haven't seen, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna pretend like you've been around since you want to be here. So yeah, of course they're gonna be looking at him, and he's just oblivious to the fact that he hasn't been there. Has not been there. But I guess the turbulence on the plane made him think about it. It's like, oh, I wasn't there for 9 months. Oh, I have no idea. See, this is the type of shit that men use as excuses when they marry somebody and have a baby with them and actually see what women go through, and then be like, this other child that I had made me realize what being a father was, because I was there through the whole process. You ain't shit. Can we have a baby? then be showing more love to that baby than Condola baby. I don't think he will, but it's just like niggas be doing shit like that. And that's why, wow, profound. We just saw the whole process of why niggas be acting like that. Y'all, it's like watching a documentary. They be acting like that because they totally disconnect from this woman that they had a baby with because they don't like her, and they start acting like children and forget the baby is a whole separate person. My nigga. Then they go through the process with a woman that they actually want to be with, and then they're just like, oh, love, my heart will go on, yes. It's my baby. I held her hair back as she vomited. I took her wig off while she hung on over the toilet, and then I patted her back. I brought her soup when she was sick. I made sure I went to every appointment because I associate love with this bitch. I don't associate love with the other bitch. So her and that child is attached to each other, and that love that I don't associate with the. Oh my gosh. This is disgusting. And I don't think Lawrence is that type of nigga, but nigga, that's disgusting. Y'all. Goodness gracious. You learn everything. You learn some new shit every fucking day. Should be obvious, but damn, to actually see it in action, the mindset and how these niggas be working. That's why they be like, I didn't love her, so I didn't love that baby. Nothing to do with me. Sickening, like a child. Like a fucking child. You have no empathy for that little child that had nothing to do with this, and so you're just gonna purposely fuck up another human being in this world because you are childish. Y'all, I hope you enjoyed this review. I learned something. I hope you learned something. Oh gosh, that just bothers the shit out of me. I'm gonna purposely fuck up this person, this other human being, because I'm childish and I can't get over the fact that I don't like this bitch. Ma'am, sir, what? How does that make any sense? How does that make any fucking sense? You explain it to me how this child is at fault for you not liking this bitch. How? See, that's why bitches be putting y'all on child support. Now, I don't really believe in child support because I went through that whole experience as a child, knowing my dad didn't want to be there, knowing he didn't want to hang out with me, and it just bothered me. And I knew he was mad that he had to pay child support, and that bothered me too, because it's like you are faking the funk because you're mad you have to pay child support and be beholden to my mom. And I didn't like that feeling. And I wouldn't put my child through that feeling. I'm not going to force you to be here if you don't want to be here, because that affects my child, and I don't have time for that. I'll just make enough money to pay for me and my child. You can go and disappear into the Netherlands. Away with thee. But if you want to put that nigga on child, do it. Shit. No, because that's fucking childish. That's fucking childish. How dare you? How dare you purposely fuck up another human being because you don't like somebody? You are sick. These niggas be sick, I swear. This is why you gotta be careful when you're dating. It's why it's an important decision. It's an important decision. Be on your P's and Q's. Make sure you're paying attention if any condoms break or any plan B is a thing. Make sure you're taking your birth control. Don't have babies with these niggas if you ain't sure that they're going to be there to take care of your child. And if you just want to have a child, make sure that nigga's going to be gone, not showing up randomly here and there, fucking up your child's mental health. We don't need that. No one has time for that. I don't care. But see, that's why these bitches be putting you on child support. Because no, just because you don't like me, you're gonna fuck up I'm the one that have to be here with this child 24/7 listening to him talk about, where's daddy? The other children have daddies. Why don't I have a daddy? Then you got the audacity to be mad at Sierra because she don't want Future's deadbeat ass because he got a baby addiction. The fuck? She has to sit there and listen to her child, and her child ask, why does daddy have 80 million babies with a bunch of different women? Why do I have so many stepmommies and things and stuff? Why do I have so many brothers and sisters from different people? And then mommy has to sit there and answer those questions over and over and over again and put her child in therapy and have to work through that shit because you're not there. You don't care that you fucked up this little person's mental health. You don't give a fuck. You don't care. Of course, this is not all men. This is not Lawrence, but this is a good chunk of black men, you know, because of epigenetics and slavery trauma and taking men out of the family. It's in the system, it's systematic, but at the same time, at this point, we can make choices and decisions for ourselves. And if we feel like we have a problem, we need to go to therapy, fix it, move the fuck on. There's no excuse at this point. There's no fucking excuse. So yes, like I said, this is my rant. This shit triggered me. We saw the process of how niggas be doing nigga shit with their kids. And so, fuck them deadbeat dads. Not saying Lawrence is one. And a lot of men aren't. But the ones that are, fuck them niggas. Said what the fuck I said. Okay, let me know what you thought. Liked it, didn't like it. Fuck deadbeat dads. I'm gonna go decompress because it bothered me so. And later days.